What is going on, everyone? Bruce with What's Popping here, and we are back with another incredibly exciting episode. Now, today's guest, you will have seen from the thumbnail, but you may recognize him from a couple of shows out there. Most recently, there's a brand new show coming out called The Morning After. He is in that. He is also in a really cool show I've been watching on Showmax recently called Catch Me a Killer. He was on Ice Season 2 as well, and if you don't recognize him from any of those, you may notice him from a very small show called One Piece. Grant Ross is joining us today. Grant, I'm going to bring you in right now. How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, guys, firstly, I just want to say what's up to everyone watching this, and a massive thank you, Bruce, for, just having me a part of this community and connecting me and connecting all of us. It's super, super cool just to chat things through, man, and get to know everyone and you as well, dude. So, yeah, it's been quite a journey and just super grateful to be a part of it. And, yeah, keeping warm in this freezing cold, wintry, wet weather in Cape Town. But, dude, Cape Town's a beaut, as we all know, and we love it, and we work through it.
At least the sun will probably be shining this afternoon. That's the way Cape Town rolls. I'm up in Pretoria, so I've got that high fault weather at least. And it was 26 here yesterday. It was ridiculously warm. It was awesome.
Oh, no ways.
It was crazy. I was working outside in the sunshine. It was amazing.
I've been to Joburg for an ad, I think in Jan this year, and it was so funny, man. Like Cape Town and Joburg have a different kind of weather pattern. It's like Cape Town within, I think, the first 4 hours of the morning, you can get every single weather pattern that you can think of. And in Joburg, it's freezing cold and then super boiling in the afternoons, or like by 10, 11 in the morning. It's like, crazy.
As soon as the sun comes out, you're in the sun, you're fine.
Dude, it's amazing.
But yeah, speaking of Cape Town, right? So we obviously got to see you at Comic-Con Cape Town. Bringing Genzo to the main stage was awesome. It was so cool to see a panel full of South African actors doing a huge international panel. I mean, I've been covering Comic-Con for a few years now, and I can just say it was so heartwarming. Gave me chills to see a stage full of South Africans with this incredible fandom behind them. As a South African actor, I know a lot of us, we don't get to interact with huge fandoms. We often very isolated in specific shows. We have small cameos here and there. What was it like for you at Comic-Con Cape Town to actually meet the fans and spend time with people who loved Genzo?
Oh man, I like, honestly, it's this still to this day feels like a dream come true. It really honestly is. I don't think as South African actors we ever really have had an opportunity like this where you can access a community that is so big and loving and connected and understands a project to the depths that they do. But to be a part of something that is so global and massive is super humbling, and you kind of stand there going, how is this all happening? So I think going to Comic-Con, like I said, South African actors, we don't get this massive focus a lot of the time. You got to fly overseas. You got to go to Los Angeles, or to anywhere in the States, whatever it is, London, United Kingdom, to kind of expand and grow even more. But the beauty about Cape Town is that all these international shows are coming to us. So you've got to have your stuff ready, and so you can hop on some of these shows. But Comic-Con, like, for me, to be honest with you, I'm great at acting. I love it. But before Comic-Con, 100%, super nervous. I had a bit of fear I was working through and dealing with, and I was like, what am I going to say? How am I going to respond? How am I ready for this? So as much as people think like these actors are like, they can probably speak in front of people, like I sometimes I dread it before I go on. But what's interesting about it is the love at just the community, the way the community was and has been to me on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, super inviting, encouraging, super loving. So for me, Comic-Con, when I first went on stage, I was blown away, like sat down and everything just aligned, and you kind of sit down and you get given the mic and it just flows. And it really only flows because you feel like you've got a family, a community, a backing, and you really just rely and trust on that as well. Yes, I can speak in front of people. That's not an issue. But it's incredible just how much easier it is when you know that you're loved and you got people backing you. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a one thing speaking as an actor, as Genzo on set. It's another speaking as Grant in front of a room full of people where you kind of peel those layers away, and it's Grant. There's no facade. There's no,
Dude, totally. And I think a lot of the time people do kind of miss that. They're like, oh, this is, and they see a different person. They're like, oh, wait, but Genzo. But the thing is with me and Genzo is we're very similar.
Listen, you guys
Very, very.
look identical. Anybody who bought a photo up with you didn't get a photo with Grant. They got a photo with Genzo. Let's just say, let's be honest.
Dude, I'm not even
uncanny.
joking. Like when I saw the character, because I knew nothing about it. So like the script that I got given was under a code name. So I think Genzo's name was Roke or something like that. Nami's name was Ava. And I'm reading the script and I'm like, I don't know what I'm auditioning for, but it seems really cool and it's got the father vibe to it. I'm a dad in real life. I've got 2 kids, 9 and 7. Liam is 9 and Lucas is sorry, not 7, 6. And it's crazy how when I read that script, I was like, I know this guy. There was so many aspects of who he is. Yes, you've got to take the given circumstances of the script and kind of mold that and adapt that to who you are already. But there was definitely what I felt. It almost felt like destiny in a way. And I've got an even greater story on that because I actually gave up acting 4 months prior to booking.
I was going to ask you about that because you mentioned at Comic-Con that you literally were like, you know what, maybe not for me. I'm chasing it too hard. I want it too much. And then this came along and kind of changed things.
And I find anytime that you want something too much and you hold on too tight, it doesn't allow it to flow to you because you're saying, I'm an empty cup. I need it in order to feel fulfilled or loved. And it's like, whoa, brother. Everything in its time. Let go. Make sure that this thing you know and trust is abundant and full of life and limitless. And you've got what you need. You don't need to strive or perform. But actors are performers. So we're like, in the next gig, and I want to play another character. And the world is, you got to be a little bit crazy sometimes to be an actor. But you know what? There's so much we learn and there's so much life within it. But yeah, I was going through a really hard time. I wasn't booking work. I was doing self-tape after self-tape. I was trying to, be that good husband, be that good father. My wife works. She's a bookkeeper. She's earning great. And, you as the man, you also want to be like, cool, man, I'm going to bring my part. And then sometimes the winter hits or sometimes it goes quiet and you sit and you go, okay, what now? So I pushed all my energy into my personal training business. I love training, love fitness. So yeah, and then that grew and I was like, you know what, there's no time to really focus on the self-tapes and other stuff. And I'm happy that my wife and my kids are happy. So let me just be here. And it's so crazy, Bruce, dude. Like, freaking, I get like my first audition and it's like a one-liner and I'm sitting there and I'm going, after 4 months of saying no, I'm like, seriously? Like it's
this is what you guys send me? This is what you send me?
I've done like named roles and the stuff I've done is so, I'm like, really, guys? Like, I didn't like leave and become a beginner again. I left for 4 months. Like, cut me some slack here. Dude, like, I'm literally sitting there going, oh, I'm like, guys, I'm letting this one slide. I'm not doing the no-named role. And I'm not trying to be arrogant about it, but you get to a point where you pay your dues. And still, I'll be honest with you, I do no-named roles when I see that there's a big enough character and it's fun and I can really see, okay, this is going to be something special. So it's not
it's not about the grandeur or the money or whatever. It's about the fact, do you see a challenge in that character? Do you see something in that character you want to portray? If you are on screen, like I've done some extras work, I've done voiceover work, you do lots of different stuff. If you are on screen for 5 seconds as an extra and you mess it up, you can ruin the audience's experience completely. So like, you don't want to be that guy who ruins it. So at the same time, if you're watching a show, right, and I'm watching, like, for example, I don't know, Star Wars, and I see, like, I don't believe that person behind the bar is a bartender, that experience is ruined for me. That bartender's got to have a backstory. I got to know where he came from, what planet was from, what happened.
Dude, totally. It's a frequency and an energy. And like you have to understand those backgrounds. You put it in here and then you're leaving yourself aside. Although there is elements of you that is coming through, but the character's got to show up, right? And that's the homework you do before you come on set. And you leave that and you go on set, you let go. Again, there's that whole thing of let go, which is a massive theme in my life at the moment. It has been for the last 4 years. But yeah, so the first audition that comes through, I'm like, cheers, let's not do that. And then here comes Project Panda. And I'm like, what is this Project Panda? Why have they got it in a code name? And I'm like, what's up with these code names? Like, God, sorry, but I get it, right? I don't even know that the fandom is so big. They have to do code names. So here's me judging this thing. And I'm like, dude, I do the thing. And on the day that I do it, I only have 15 minutes to do it. I call up a mate and I say, come to my house, please, dude. His name's Graham. So Graham comes around and he's like, all right, dude, let's do this. What do you want to do? And I literally like move cupboards in my bedroom. So I have a nice little white wall. I pop the camera stand up, I put the phone there, and I bust out one or two. And it's like, yeah, it's feeling great and stuff. And my mate, G, just goes, he looks at me, he goes, stop. He says, come here. And I go, oh, what's that, dude? And he goes, stop. And I'm like, stop what? He goes, just stop trying. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, get out of your head, read this, be it. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And he goes, even if you have to leave the dialogue, don't stick to the, Bruce, you have no understanding. Bruce, when it comes to stick to the dialogue and rules within acting auditions, you stick to the dialogue. I broke it all. I went,
that is automatic
time to get free. I've got to break the rules, man. Because this thing, holding on too tight, the constructs. What if I break the rule and then they don't like me? And the fear, and blah, 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 blah. Man, I just went, let's go. And then it was the weirdest thing. The scene felt so beautiful and it flowed and so natural and vulnerable that at the end, I didn't want to stop. So I improv'd a little scene at the end of the actual scene that I was meant to do. And it turned out tears watering up. I'm pulling Nami in, who I didn't even really fully understand because you don't get any backstory, nothing. You get your sides, and I'm like, what world am I in? Why is she crapping on me? And she's younger than me, and she's going, what is going on here? So I just created a world at the end of the scene, and I was like, pull this daughter in, teary-eyed, holding it back, and then I release her, and then something happens, and I'm like, oh shucks, we need to go because this is where Arlong breaks into Kokoyashi Village to take over. So, dude, I send off the audition and I'm like, I've got to go to my clients. So I run off to my clients at the gym because, I'm running the business there. I'm doing auditions here. I'm doing voiceover. Man, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later. Hey, Grant, you've been booked for Project Panda. I'm like, oh, okay. Put my phone in my pocket. Still know nothing. I think I booked something. There's no emotional like, yes, or dude, the only thing I knew about Project Panda was someone said to me it was really big, and I'd been sent 3 auditions prior in the 4 months that I'd stopped, and I think 1 or 2 before that, and I was like, ach no, and then Grant, it's really big. It's not in the headspace, like got to provide. And dude, yeah, the message comes through, and you've been booked, and I'm going, okay, cool. Well, let's see what this is about. So I go to an audition. It's a place called Chaos in Woodstock in Cape Town. And I sit down and there's a couple of guys there and I'm like, oh, so I just booked this thing on Project Panda. And I say it so flippantly. And you see like 3 guys just turn their heads and go, so what did you say? I said, no, I booked this thing called Project Panda. I don't even know what it is. They are anime fans, dude. Like I'm Dragon Ball Z. I've always been Dragon Ball Z. That's what was my focus. Like I love Dragon Ball Z. Love One Piece as well. Like I'll tell you more about that just now. But this is crazy, dude. So these guys show me the wiki fandom page and they show me who Genzo is and they tell me you're an ally. It's like the most amazing thing ever. And Genzo never dies, which means you could be in the show for like 20 years. I'm like, yeah. Now I'm jumping, dude. I'm like freaking jumping. I'm like in the casting room and I'm going, woo, let's be. And I'm standing there and maybe I don't realize what has happened and how my life has been changed. So, dude, like cut to like me starting to study the stuff. So I go to YouTube and I look for all the different videos, study the character, and then I started to build my character. So that's how I came across it and realized, oh my gosh, I've stepped into Oda's world of absolute brilliance.
Insane. Well, it's interesting you mentioned that. You say, I think in life things, what is meant for you will be. And so many of us, we spend a lot of time in our own heads, in our own minds, thinking, if we get this, if we do that, I've got to push for this, I've got to push for that. And we sometimes externalize our own self-worth. And that's when our mental health goes down the tubes because, especially as an actor, you continue reliant on other people's opinion of you. And it's so difficult to find that in yourself. And to something I don't think we focus on enough is having your own structure to build from. And if you can do that, you can let go. And it just gives you the better chance of actually landing the roles and doing what you love.
Totally. I do think you really need to know yourself. And that obviously takes time. And that's a maturing phase throughout life. But how I see it is I feel like knowing me as Grant, the family man, as because I'm not an actor. You know what I mean? It's something I do. I'm not identified by it.
Exactly.
And if I can separate that and understand how that works spiritually, emotionally, from a soul level, just with the makeup of who I am as a human being, then I'm able to step away and almost see like, okay, let's have this blank canvas and let's create another identity or understand who these characters are, where they come from, play that, and then when I let go, I know what I need to come home to. Not that Grant doesn't shift or change in the years to come, because Grant is ever evolving. I think we all are, and we can even we can choose to even stay stagnant if we want to, and that's our choice. But that's kind of how I see things and how I connect with my characters, through a lot of my own suffering and darkness that I've been through in my life, and pain and hurts. And I lost my dad when I was 20, and that absolutely broke me. And now understanding, like through being a husband, through being a father, I understand what it's like to play a loving father, a narcissistic father, which I played recently in a series called Summertide, which is on Mnet. I played
I'm watching Summertide. You haven't popped up yet. I'm waiting for you.
So, dude,
I'm watching. I'm a Summertide fundi. That's my Sunday night guilty pleasure. My mom and I sit to watch Summertide every Sunday. We love it.
Brilliant. It's so good. And like, I pop up for 2 episodes, and I'm a real dude. I'm a proper real British geezer. I'm like a Jason Statham, but like the narcissistic type. You know, he rewards his son for bad behavior. A proper real bad guy. You know, dude. He's seriously like, yeah. So it's crazy, because like, if I didn't grow and learn through my own suffering and understand why I did what I did when I was younger, because, you know, when we're younger, we're a little bit, but bro, like, I learned from all of that. Okay, cool. That's what a narcissist is. That's what like an enabler is, a victim, and all of that stuff helped me with my acting. And since I understood me, things started to lift. So yeah,
I think that's such a that's really came through in the role of Genzo, because you do see that fatherhood coming through and flowing. And I think that often, you know, you say acting's reacting, and I listened to a lot of interviews with Cillian Murphy speaking about Oppenheimer, and he said exactly what you're saying. You do the research, you do the background. When you step on set, you've got to let it flow. And I think from what you said about your audition, you kind of let it flow. I wanted to ask you then, moving into actually shooting. So obviously on a show like One Piece, like you say, it's very strict. You know, the line is the line. But as far as I understand, you worked with Joseph Ladica on your episodes as your director. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a moment that you sort of said to him, "Look, I think we need to add this here." You felt it flowing, you felt the energy on set, and you just kind of said, "Look, I think this needs to happen." How does that come about, and how do you sort of feel like? What's it like? Is it because you're working with the director that you know you can make a comment to, and you can sort of help tell Genzo and push the story forward, or is it, you know, there's also that fear of like, this is Project Panda, this is One Piece, I shouldn't mess with it too much?
So yeah, really good question.
Loaded question, yeah.
No. So the interesting thing is like, for me to even get to the point where I could even think up the thought of I get to have a say, was years of working on myself, to have a platform where just natural confidence flows within what I love doing. If I doubt myself at all, then I won't be able to do that. But also, I came to this with a bird's eye view approach. I didn't come in. I know I went, okay, cool. I feel this small. I'm in a massive project that I'm aware of the size, but I don't let it intimidate me to crush my voice. Because I've realized in many occasions I've used my voice and I've been completely wrong. And I've been shot down, and I had to really eat some humble pie and take responsibility and go, that wasn't cool. But then I've also had moments where I speak and it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We didn't see that. And this was a moment where I stood there and I went, it feels like they're going to miss this. Something's not like to cut a scene from me sitting with my daughter, having a dialogue with her. I think I'm correcting her about stealing a map book. And they called cut, and they're like, cool, let's move on. And I went, well, Arlong has to come in. How do they cut from my reaction to Arlong entering? Something's not, you guys are going to miss this. And then it's either going to be more money for them, they have to reshoot, or da, da, da. So it's just like, whoa, guys, can I just chat to Joseph quickly? And I said, hey, man, what's the transition from here to, and his eyes just went, and he said, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Dude, what are you thinking? I said, well, here I am, Genzo. This is my daughter. There's a guy coming in here to take my wife and my kids and my family. Are you crazy? Not on my watch, bro. I'm going to hunt this man. You come into my door and you smash. No. Boom. And he went, I freaking love it. Camera, quickly, set up now. Ba, 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 ba. Dude, and how amazing. Have you seen that scene?
I have.
There's a slow, you get up, he looks, and then, hey! It was so powerful, Oak, that when I sat there watching and I went, wow, I used my voice. Thank you. I wasn't afraid. I did that, dude. Pat on the back.
That scene, if I'm not mistaken, that scene actually made the next week on, or the next the cut for the next episode.
Yes,
that's the kind of moment you're looking for as a hook for the audience.
Yes, so it's energy and frequency that connects the next part of the scene like a bridge, and you've got to have that to pull. What's happening? Oh, Genzo, what's going to happen here? Oh no! And then Karubi comes, which is a scene in. So now, how do we link that? So then Karubi comes. Come here, bro. And he nails me, slices and dices me. I'm coming back for that, man. He knows it. I know this guy. I know him. He's a friend of mine. I've been texting him the other day. I said, I'm coming to make some sushi, bro. I'm ready.
Get Agent Yanni from Catch Me a Killer to go and chase him down.
Yes, dude, I must.
The big relief about One Piece is that there's been a lot of pushback towards live action adaptations of so many things, and in the anime manga section, that hasn't, there wasn't One Piece wasn't exempt from that, let's say. So when the show came out and was such a success, it was really, really exciting for fans to see this translation onto set, and I think onto live action. I think that story you give kind of explains why it works. It really sounds like behind the scenes it was a collaborative effort. Everybody wants to do what's best for the show, for the program, and not a case of, I'm this director, I've directed Narcos, what do you know as an actor? You know what I mean? The fact that there's that collaboration on set really translates onto screen, and it just sounds like it was just a great environment to be working in.
You have no idea how amazing Joseph is. I call him the American monk because he's like this. What did I call it? Was it American monk or something? He's like a Japanese or Chinese guy, but he's got this American New York accent, and the most calm, still. He doesn't bark orders. He doesn't shout. Walks over to you. Hey, Grant, I'm really loving what you're doing. Thanks. Thank you. Walks off, and I'm like, what is going on? Then he'll come out and he'll walk out and he goes, oh, Grant, we're loving what you're doing. Thank you. And I'm like, okay, wait, that's the second time I've been encouraged by a director? You have no idea how many directors just sit. Bark the order. Don't encourage, man. And I think the consciousness and the energy of Earth is shifting, and where it's moving out of that whole ego-based space. It's coming into a place of joy and fun and laugh and love and, come on, that's amazing. Can you try it like this? Oh, dude, amazing, brilliant. Because that energy elevates, and then we can play in a safe environment like little kids, which is amazing.
And you give your actor the confidence to play.
Totally. You say to him, dude, the floor is yours. And he came up to me and he said the same way. He said, we've got what we need. Even if you don't do this take well, I just want you to try something so far left field. Let's just see what happens. Try something fun for your last take. So I'm like, what? Are you serious? Like, so cool. The energy was amazing, dude. And just to reiterate one more thing is, like, when I come onto set, I do go, okay, cool. I know I'm the actor here, but I'm watching all the time. I'm watching energy of people, and I'm going, cool. If they're there, then I need to be here. I don't want to. So I'm sensing people at the same time, but I cover the whole project. So I sit covering it and I go, okay, cool. If I see anything, I'm going to speak up, or maybe I shouldn't. So as you say, it's not just me coming in. I'm this actor, and I'm never going to speak from that place either, because people will sense it. So yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. Your co-stars pick up on it, and it just becomes a horrible vibe on set. You see examples of actors saying, "I refuse to speak to this person because they screamed at me the day
Yeah.
before," and now that telling the director that literally, I don't want to see them again. I'll act to a tennis ball as my eye line. Just get rid of them. And it's like, what a toxic working environment. How do you create something? How do you get a creative process out of that? Because it's just not going to work.
Yeah, man. Once we realize as people that we are one another and we're connected and we're one. I mean, that's why we have the word simunye. It's like if we can realize that, like, it's not about the separation stuff. It's like we're connected, we're one. If I'm having issues, deal with it, talk about it, or work on myself, because sometimes it's my trigger and it's not even the other person. And I've got to really and then bring the best of me, like spirit, soul, body, all work ethic to set, and go, here I am. You know. Um, so yeah, like you mentioned, like acting with the cast, like it makes the cast feel better, and you flow with your fellow actors. Like the actors on One Piece, dude, they were so incredible, man. They knew their characters so well. They understood exactly how to keep the energy up, have fun, play. In between takes, like the chats, like everything was just really, really cool, man. So giving, so giving.
I mean, that's so important as well when you've got cast coming on at different times. Like as far as I'm aware, you came on quite late in the process, so you're coming into an established cast. They all know each other. They got a rapport. They got inside jokes, whatever. Here comes Grant. What is that process like? Coming into that, do you feel like you slid in quite naturally, and everyone was very welcoming and opening, and you flow, or did you feel a bit of a separation with the cast?
I think, like, you get this kind of acting thing that people do. It's like, oh, I'm playing a father to someone, therefore when I come in I need to be quite fatherly with them throughout. And what I find is, like, they never then really get to meet Grant, and then I'm coming from my head more. And so there was this place where I came to the set, and I was like, I wonder how I must greet Nami, Emily Rudd. I wonder how I must greet certain characters. And then I just sat and I went, you know what? I'm not going to get up in my head about this. I'm going to let this go, and I'm going to just be like, hey, this is who Grant is. Hug them. What's up, guys? Da 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 da. And it's crazy because I think uh, uh, when we both came to our scene to do the scene, myself and Emily, I know for a fact, like, I could see she went into Nami and I went into Genzo, and then you just like, okay, this is different. So at least, and you know what? The undergirding is that you know the real person, and you've had a laugh in the tent while you're sitting waiting for your scene, and you've connected over talking about, you guys want a burger? We're getting sneaky burgers from here. And then you come into a scene, and now you're like, actually, I know you. I can trust you. And then you've got the undergirding and the foundation of trust, and now you can play properly. And then the scene is like magnetic, man.
I don't know if it's the right way of putting it, but when I think about it, it's almost like when you're in a scene, you can pick up the energy of good acting. You know what I mean? And it forces you to lift your game. And I find you
Totally.
might actually struggle. You might struggle to pick up on that and feel that magic if you don't know the person. If it's like, because if you don't know the person, it could just be, hey, it's Emily delivering lines. If you had a chat with Emily beforehand, and this is what she's like, and you see her step into that character, you actually can. There's moments on set where you actually see, like you say, see someone step into character. You feel this like electricity go through your body, and like, okay, I'm stepping into character now. I'm upping my game, and then the synergy on set just goes through the roof.
Dude, like, well, that's the thing, is like, what's really great is if you mess up a take and you know the person. Like, there was a take I think that we did, and she's like saying to me, "You owe me a couple of berry," which was the coins. What is the word I'm looking
Yeah,
for?
the currency. Yeah,
The currency, of their place, Kagayashi village. So they open a little box and stuff like that, and like the scene ends, and everything just like kind of goes silent, and like you realize, okay, the scene's done, and you just feel this energy sometimes where you're like,
yeah.
and then she does it as well, and then it's just and you're like, and when we do different things every time a scene changes to keep energy, and the fact that we're able to play and move and just have fun, it's so good, and that only comes from knowing the person, the real person. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it breaks down those barriers and it makes the long shoots that much more fun. And the more fun you're having on set, the more synergy you're gonna feel, the more you get along.
Totally, man. Totally.
So saying obviously before you got into One Piece, you sort of put acting aside and said, you know what, I wanted too much. How has being on One Piece now shifted your attitude towards the industry, if it has at all, or is it a case of you've found more opportunities coming your way and more exciting roles?
Yeah. So One Piece reminded me again about stillness for screen acting. Obviously, everything is about being truthful, but I learned from these actors. They're young, but they are brilliant. And I stood and I went, okay, why does it look like they're not doing anything? What do they know that I don't know? And I chatted to one or two of them, and they mentioned that the shots are often going to be like these manga kind of anime close up, like, so you've got to be, because just
See
the
the
way.
beat of sweat coming down.
Totally. The hat moment with Nami, where Luffy puts the hat and she's like crying, and it's like these really cool angles, like, but they're close up.
Straight out of a panel of a manga or a comic book. It's insane.
Right. So now they're taking that, and you got to now adapt your acting, and you got to realize, okay, shucks, like usually I would maybe give a little bit of like I don't know, like I don't choose to overthink when I act. So I'm not going to be like, I'm going to move my eye here. I'm going to feel and be truthful and let the character flow through me, and whatever behavior patterns come through, that comes through. And every take is generally slightly different. But I could really see their focus. Like it would be like, doof, the eyes are connected and then the line comes out.
I'm looking at Genzo right now. That's insane. I was like, I see that eye, and I'm like, that's Genzo right there. It's
yeah, and the close up on
Michael Caine pick an eye.
Totally, dude, totally. Yes, I watched that Michael Caine thing over 100 times. I studied from him, like, dude, 5 or 10 years ago. I watched that thing. Like, I would send it to my mates. Like, no, but you gotta get this. Like, this is gold. but yeah. So I definitely learned. I refined my acting from that, and then a lot of them are super spiritual, man. Like, look, I find everything is spiritual, but it's like they're working on themselves and they're listening to content and podcast in between their takes. And some of them are singing, some of them are meditating, some of them are, dude, like Taz is stretching 24/7, practicing his kicks, lifting weights. We've got Jacob, who played Usopp. Dude, this guy, like the meditation, just sit there meditating. And I'm like, hey, dude, can I chat to you? What are you listening to? And then him and I connect over certain things that I listen to. And it's just, you realize, man, like I'm big on frequency and energy. He's big on frequency and energy, and what you bring and your attitude and holding and maintaining a ball of energy that runs through your body, and you're walking around on set keeping that. So just it's insane how there was a lot of alignment and stuff. So I learned a lot from them from that aspect. Taz Skyler, man, that guy inspired me like I cannot even tell you. He showed me videos on his Instagram about with regards to his fighting, his jumping out of helicopters, his gun training at the armory. It inspired me so much, dude, that I went straight to the armory the next week. And I think I did like 2 hours there or something. Man, it's expensive to buy bullets at an armory and just shoot them into a wall, and there goes your cash, But he was there like every single weekend, and I saw videos of how he handled the gun, and I thought, I've got to do this in order to book more work. I can act well. I'm confident about that, but to be believable, gun, like it wasn't there. So I went and I did this, shot it, got it shot by a friend, cut a reel together, sent it through, and then dude, like bookings. So then it's like One Piece carried an energy of success, abundance, love, fun, just a vibration that was incredible. And I put that into everything I did. And then it just built and stacked. And then other bookings came in. So that's where I learned a lot. I learned a lot more about sharpening my skills, honing who I am as an actor, and working on myself constantly so that I'm ready for any gig that comes along. Because in South Africa, it's not easy. I'll be honest with you. Like, you get a gig here and there, and then you've got to do 3 or 4 other things, and that's what I do. I do personal training, dubbing, voiceovers. I was selling inverters and batteries and solar power at one stage. I still do it now and again as like a rep on the side. But we've got no load shedding at the moment here in Cape Town.
Yeah. So. Damn it.
Damn it. What are you guys doing to me? No.
We've also got no sun at the moment, so that's another problem.
Yeah.
What's going on?
No, you see what he meant? So weird. Like the moment one good thing changes, you got to shift again, you know? I'm so stoked without load shedding. Please trust me. Like I know.
Dude, please, no. Knock on wood. Let's long meds stay away.
But yeah, dude. So I learned a lot from this whole time on set and the process about myself and my industry. So it's been a dream come true. I really mean that.
I mean, I've heard you speak in the past about acting being kind of like a healing process. And I think that you do, when you take on different characters, you find their flaws, and sometimes that addresses some of the flaws you have in yourself. Sometimes you find strength in those characters, and that helps to, apply to your own life. I did a little bit of research, and I actually found a Grant Ross interview from way back in the day for Top Billing.
No.
Where I noticed that, I mean, you mentioned that as a kid, you would often get super anxious over phoning in for a pizza. You couldn't bring up the courage to do that. How has acting helped you to sort of shed that part or grow? I wouldn't say you share that part of yourself. You grow other parts of yourself. It's like working muscles, right?
Yeah.
You grow other parts of yourself. How has acting helped you to do that? And what advice would you give to the kid who looks at screen, looks at whether they want to be a background extra in a show or create their own film? What advice would you give to that kid who's also too scared to pick up the phone to order a pizza but wants to grow into this kind of industry and into
so pick up a fake phone, create a environment where you need to do that in your imaginary world and experience what it feels like first. Feel it, create it as though you've already done it, so that your brain and your heart form coherence. And you're like, okay, cool. This feels good. I feel confident in this. Do it again tomorrow. Do it again the next day. Then try something else. Maybe pick up the phone, but don't dial the number. Pick up the real phone or the cell phone. Old phone. Gosh, I haven't picked up an old phone. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, pick up a new phone, a cell phone, and dial the number. And don't make the call. Hear the ringing and then put it down and go, okay, what does that feel like? If there's a kid out there that is dealing with fear and you got to take baby steps and walk through that fear. You have to walk through it. Every time you allow fear to control you, you become smaller. Every time you speak up and you stand up, that fear becomes smaller. False evidence appearing real. It ain't real, buddy. Whoever I'm talking to, it ain't real. So when you said the Top Billing interview, before you even said it, I went, oh no, it's going to be the Top Billing interview. And I know within myself, it is one of my worst interviews. I hate that it's out there, but I promised myself I would never try to get rid of it. It's a part of myself. People can see it and then go, this is the guy that was experiencing that. This is who he's. No ways. How? And then it's like, cool. Here's my story. Here's my journey. How can I help? You know what I mean? So I would say that's the route. You can take the story of the phone call and the pizza and you can change it into whatever scenario the person's going through. But ultimately, it's about being kind and gentle to yourself and not being too hard on yourself. I was very performance driven as a kid because I only felt loved when my mom and my dad said, well done. And that's not their fault. It's the tools they knew and understood, and they were trying their best and they were busy and they were doing their thing.
Yeah.
But it was like the moment I did well, oh, my boys, I was like, oh, that feels so nice. Let me do well. Still to this day, I'm unraveling performance-driven identity. I have to learn to rest. I have to learn to go, there's enough grace, like be graceful with yourself. And sometimes that energy of just rest, like last night, okay, so weird. I just felt to have a bath. I don't bath often. I like a bath, a warm bath when it's cold, but I lay there for an hour and a half. My wife came and she said, are you okay? And I'm like, I am amazing. And like I lay there just resting, going, oh, thank you. This is so, so good. So I was just sitting in Thanksgiving, gratitude, dude. It's powerful. Like really feel it. Not mental. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful. Not a mental assent. I'm talking feel what look at. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful that I have eaten today. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. It's true. It's like real good stuff. I'm lying in the bath. I get this text from a friend of mine. He's a South African actor, and he's been having a few struggles and stuff. And like he wrote to me, dude, I cannot make this stuff up. He wrote me a poem. And I'm like, where is this coming from? I'm like, hey, dude, are you okay? He's like, I just want you to know something. I want to say to you, thank you for showing yourself to the world. And now I'm like, dude, are you okay? Is everything okay? Like, what's it? No, you don't understand. I've been having a hard time, but like the stuff you're releasing on Instagram, the way that you inspire people, he said, your life is just, he's like, dude, I don't want to say what he said, but like, because I don't want to.
Yeah.
But he said, I want to express to you who Grant Ross is in my perspective and who I see him as.
That's special, man. That is incredible.
I'm lying in the bath, crying, bro. I'm sitting, I'm going, I don't even know what to say or do, bro. Like, he then decides I'm going to take the poem and I'm going to put it into a voice note. And he puts this amazing voice onto this thing. And he, for a minute and 45 seconds, and he describes me to me. And guess what my one thought was in the last like week or so? I was like, and I hope you don't mind me being vulnerable, because being an actor, being on One Piece, many people are like, these guys have made it. They are like, successful. They don't have any mental issue. I'm not saying I have mental issues, but here's the thing: is like the last week I went, am I seen? Do people appreciate me? Am I loved? And I've been questioning a lot of things, and I'm like, it feels like it's gone a bit quiet. Why? What is? And here comes this message. It's like this guy picked up an energy or whatever, and he just went, I got you. I love you. I want to write about you. Boom. Then he got hold of this is an acting friend in Cape Town. He then got hold of my new headshots. And he's like, I'm going to put the score of Inception in the background with your headshots flickering through with my poem in the background, because that is how much you've changed my life.
That's so powerful, man, because honestly, acting industry aside, I think we all spend a lot of time, I know we're getting off topic here, but I think it's important to chat about, is that we spend a lot of time, there's a million versions of each of us out there. Every person you engage with has a version of you in their mind. And I think we subconsciously, we're aware of that. To somebody out there, all they know of me is I'm the asshole who blocked them in traffic one day. I might have done it by mistake. I might have done it by mistake. But if they remember me, if they ever see that, like, you're that guy, you took my parking, and I'm like, I might not even have seen it. I just pulled in, I thought it was open. So that's a micro level, but within all of our relationships in our lives, everybody's got a different version of us. There's Grant, the guy who played Genzo. There's Grant, the guy who played Yanni. You would have had small idiosyncrasies about yourself on set that day that led people to have a different vision of you. And we all have that in our daily lives with everybody you interact with. So I think all of us subconsciously take that in so often, and we start thinking, like, I have this vision of myself. Is that true? And then we start looking outwards for it. But to actually then finally get somebody who reaches out and says, you know what, I see you, and this is how I see you. You learn little bits about yourself and about how you've imparted bits of yourself onto other people. And that is so rare and so beautiful, because it's, that only comes out of somebody being willing to just be super vulnerable with you and to come into that open moment with you. And
totally, man.
That's incredible, man. Thank you for sharing that.
That word, no, dude, pleasure. That word vulnerability is, to be honest with you, what makes a good actor. If I can't be vulnerable in this reality, who am I to play the notes, the keys, the instruments of another character and their mind and heart? We can't act from here. We've got to act from here. So if I pretend from here in this reality and I don't live from here in this reality, people will notice and see as well. I know when I'm being fake. I call myself out. I'm like, that was not,
that wasn't me.
Okay, never again. Apologize to myself and the person or whoever, and let's try again. Upgrade time, So, and a lot of the great actors actually talk about that. They say, hey, listen, like, I can't do that role justice if I can't connect it to something that I've accessed here now in this reality. So I'm feeling like, no, and that sometimes the directors are like, trust me, I will lead you, then help, just trust me. This is, and you're like, okay, then you put all your trust in the director, and then they kind of like expand it and help you, or an acting coach or whoever. But yeah.
I think a good director will find that in you, and will. The thing to remember, I think, when everybody gets on a job, you get super nervous, and people get so caught up in their own heads about the audition process, and you forget that the director and the casting director want you to be good. They want you to be the best version you can be. So they're looking for that. And then
Dude, totally.
You go through that and you go, okay, well, now I've booked the job. Oh, I'm nervous. No, they saw something in you. They wouldn't have cast you if they didn't see that in you. And you then have to be vulnerable and say, you know what? I'm gonna just open myself up to the process, be vulnerable, and say, guide me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was my rant for 2 seconds.
No, but that's so true, man. Like it really is. We need that. We need that. What is it? Is a symbiotic relationship. We need to be able to connect deeply and flow and understand different worlds. And how better to do it if you know your world, if you understand this life and this world, if you understand that this life comes with joys and with suffering, then you play characters that are multifaceted like that. Like my whole lead up to One Piece, it's crazy. So we were in like the height of COVID when they were shooting One Piece.
That was when you guys were on stage. I think that was, obviously you guys filmed in separate blocks, but I think that was the first time a lot of you guys actually met each other as a South African cast. I mean, you would have known Joma, and maybe that's about it. I don't know, from the South African cast.
Yeah, so like I knew Aiden, I knew there's a whole lot of them. I hadn't met Langley before. There's another guy now, Brett who played Mary. And then who else was it? Genre, who played Karubi. He's a good mate of mine. He actually played in Ice with me as well.
Yes, yeah. I'm seeing his face. I'm seeing Steven in Catch Me a Killer as well. I'm seeing everyone pop up all over the place.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Dude, he was chat to Genre. He was in interview with Genre. He's an amazing guy. I love him. He played Karubi, and then he played Muscle in Ice. And dude, the guy is so cut. He's just ridiculous, man. It's like He-Man. This is like ridiculous. Like, they're like, what do you do? He's like, I just wake up like this. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, so it was interesting because like I had known about my gig for 45 days. They were like, you got to grow this. I'm like, I'm growing it. I'm growing it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. They're like, cool, because we don't want to make a fake one. It looks fake and it's a lot of hard work and it sometimes peels off. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to grow this thing. Bro, I can't even tell you. They said to me, Grant, it's the height of COVID. You cannot go anywhere now that you know this. You need to stay at home. No birthday parties with friends or kids or da-da-da-da. I'm like, great, awesome, cool, no worries. My sister, who I have not met my sister's kids yet, my niece and nephew, because she had them in 2020 or 2019, so that'd make them 5 now. Yeah, 2019 to 2024. Yeah, and because of COVID and the regulations and not being able to fly and stuff like that, and I was like, we will definitely connect. Don't worry. So they decided to come down like 20 days in while dude, and they're like, we're in PE, which is my hometown. Can you please fly to PE and come meet the kids? And I went, I'm sorry, I can't. But it was tough. It was hard. Eh? Like it was like, sister, I love you, but what must I do? I'm contracted to make sure that I step on set and I do everything to the book, my man.
I'm just picturing, aside from the, obviously that's incredibly difficult. And I think that, people often don't talk about what actors give up to pursue roles. People always talk about the massive drastic changes, the Christian Bale losing an X amount of weight, or someone gaining X amount of weight, or someone putting on muscle, whatever. But there's so many things in your life that, it's not all glitz and glam. There's so much stuff that you have to, it's little things. It's the little moments that you sacrifice along the way. Whatever career you're in, but I feel like in acting, it's definitely something no one speaks about. Everyone speaks about the, Grant's Genzo. That's it. There's so much going on,
Totally. And at the time, I really needed the money. I'll be honest with you. It was like, this is really going to help out with so many amazing things. And day one, no, I haven't flown to PE. I've been really, really good. I've just been waiting to get on set. And on day one, I walk onto set. So it was the night before. They put me up in a really nice hotel, which was close to where the set was. And they said, you're going to be staying here for the week, and then we'll be shooting all the stuff. And I was like, great. And the night before, I climb into the shower and I start shaking. And I'm like, what is going on? This is weird. And I'm like, something does not feel great at all. So I have a nice shower, I get warm, and I get into bed, and I'm like, I'm sure I'm fine. I wake up in the morning and I'm like 10 times worse. My throat's going, my head's pounding, my nose, and I'm like, what is going on? No way. So I go, cool. Now I often do cold water therapy, so I know that shocks my system. And so I thought maybe it's just like a little bug. I can sort him out with a cold water shower. So I have a cold water shower, and dude, afterwards I'm right as rain. I'm like, oh, whew, that worked, Tick, my little toolbox, put my clothes on, let's go. And I enter into the tent, and they're like, hey, how are you? How are you feeling? And I said, no, I felt like I've had like a little nausea and something wasn't so great, but I'm actually amazing now. I had a shower, and they're like, yeah, you look amazing. I'm sure you probably just got like a gastro or something. I said, listen, I know gastro, and that's kind of how I feel. So cool. Let's go get a swab. So they swab me, and I go through, and I think like it's a few hours later. I'm not even joking, bro. They black car. Dude,
hazmat suit.
A suit. And I get chucked. I'm like, what's going on?
I'm picturing
like, let's go. MIB.
I'm picturing Marty McFly in Back to the Future Part 1, the full hazmat Vader suit.
Yes, dude, it was literally like it. I was like, what's going on? No, what did it do? I'm like, what's going on? Just get out. Spray. Oh, what are you doing? They're spraying me down, bro. We had massive guns of like, no, I'm kidding. But dude, it was kind of like that. And then I'm like, what happened? They're like, you've got COVID. And I'm like, but I feel fine. Like it might be. I'm like, guys, no. And they're like, you have, I think it was 8 days to get better, which is a little hard for us to believe. And what they'd been doing was, if you can't, I think if the shooting schedule was too tight, they would have to give the role away to another actor, which happened in 2 or 3 other cases, which was quite sad for a lot of the guys here that also walked on set, got COVID, had to give it away. And like, yeah, I mean, so I was sitting there going, you've got to be kidding me. I've done everything right. Like, I've honored the process. Come on, I haven't even seen my sister. I haven't flown to PE. And PE was apparently like infected, like so bad, like a red zone, dude. It was like, no, you don't go there. So I had this doctor who was connected to me through the show, and they were like, this is our doctor. He's going to phone you every day, and he's going to let you know, or ask you how things are going, and then he's going to test your blood count. You're going to drive to a place. You're going to have a little test done every single day or every second day, and then that'll be sent to him, and he'll call you, and he'll let you know what your count is like. So I'm lying in bed. I'm on multivitamins. I'm on zinc, Barocca, you name it, dude. Like magnesium up to here. And I'm lying there, and I'm like, imagine, I'm literally just meditating the whole time, like wellness, well-being, thank you, onset, health, da-da-da-da-da. And day 7 arrives. Dude, day 7 arrives, and the doctor says, listen, your count's like exactly where it needs to be. I'm proud to say that you can step on set tomorrow. They had to burn down Kokoyashi Village on day 9. I walked on day 8, and I did my scenes, and day 9 they burnt it, bro.
No pressure, huh?
Dude, no pressure. I'm like, so then I sit and I go, miracle, destiny, and I start playing with these ideas, and I'm just like, this was always mine, whether anyone wants to say it or not. Like, could I have ever escaped this? This was dropped, like even COVID I'm like, so I'm very so grateful, dude. Like, just but bizarre, some bizarre stuff.
I think that's what I think we need to talk about more within the acting community, is that there is a role that's meant for you. If you are, it was brought up at the panel to say, whoever you are, whatever it is, there is something. If you want it, I don't say if you want it enough, because again, you don't want to push too hard. But if you're going to work for it and you're going to find your way forward, there is a role for you somewhere. And if it is
Yeah,
meant for you, you will get it. And that goes
totally.
across life. No matter, if you're a sports person, if it's meant for you, you'll get it. If you're an academic, if whatever it is, business, life, in life, there are things that are meant for you. You take action in your life, but you have to at some point just give it to the process and be like, you know what? There is something guiding me.
Yeah,
And I can
totally,
take
dude.
so much action, but at the end of the day, it's about, everyone talks about the process. I believe trust the process. Different processes at work, and in different fields, the
Yeah,
process is different. But whatever it is, I mean, if you're an athlete, you do as much preparation as you can up until the event, and eventually say, you know what, I've done all the prep. I got to let go. Studying for a test, I've studied, I've studied, I've studied, I've studied, I've studied. I would do the same in varsity. I'd be like, I'd study up until the point and be like, you know what, it's got to let go. I'm not going to walk up to the exam venue with the book in my hand. It's over. Like, if I don't know by now, trust the process. And it,
yeah, yeah. That's it.
I don't know if there's a field aside from acting where you can get more in your head about things from a self consciousness point of view and a self doubt point of view. I think the self doubt pervades sort of all aspects of life nowadays, especially with social media, and we're seeing it with mental health crises, in all fields and in all countries.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but acting just shines such a spotlight on it, man. Like the worst. I've got so much respect for an actor who will try for a role, then not get it, see the see the final product and be like, you know what, that was meant for that guy. That was meant
Yeah,
for that girl.
yeah,
She was meant to get that role. It wasn't meant for me. And
yeah.
I think that's such a healthy attitude to have, that if we can adopt it, I think we're gonna, it serves you as an actor, not just for your own mental health, but again, for taking pressure off yourself. I mean, like, you know what? The casting director's looking for something. They're gonna see it. If I've got it, they're gonna see it.
It's so interesting you said it because, like, for me with Catch Me a Killer, I like my audition was okay, and I put the work in, but I just didn't feel that was mine. And then the audition that I gave for a different character got me the role of Yanni, and they are streets apart. So then I started to think, what did I do in my intro? Was
Yeah.
I like, hey guys, my name's Grant, how you doing? And then I was depressed detective.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, we actually like that Grant. That's
Yeah, we
Yanni.
like the moody misogynist. Go for him. Yeah. We like the moody
Totally.
misogynist front. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I originally auditioned for the I can't remember his name now. Detective. His name is Chris. He's the bald detective.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm terrible with most of them. I'm terrible with, I know actors' names, but not their roles. I'm terrible with roles. So no, I know who you're talking
No,
about.
that's fine. I sometimes remember one or the other, but yeah, it's so funny that I was like, I gave a really good audition. I felt that's cool, and this is a cool role I'd love to play. When I read what I booked, I was like, huh? Like, really? And yeah, and like they wanted to put a slight little spin of like, hey, you have like an underlying secretive love for Mickey, and you don't like the fact that you're enjoying this because your team doesn't like her because she's the first profiler ever to come and help a group of men. In that time, it was like women were not. You just keep quiet, once us debreka, we will sort this out. And now I'm having to. So it was interesting. Yeah, it's the character with that as well. Yeah,
He was
I
super
love that
super
character.
broody. I really enjoyed him. He was super broody, and I looked at him and I was like, I've met so many of these guys. I was like,
Yes,
I've met so many
exactly.
of these guys. And the fact that you can pick that up quickly from an on-screen performance is always a good sign that you see yourself, you see yourself in other people, and you also, like, you see other people, like, you can put them in a box, which is a horrible thing to do. But you'd be like, I've met 100 of this guy before.
Well, that's cool. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I would have loved to see more of Yanni. Just like I would have of Genzo. Like the thing about Genzo that I think I got a few messages from fans, and they loved what I did, and they loved the creation of that arc. But they did have a query, and they said, why is it that there was so little of you? Like, where was those epic scenes from the manga and the animation? And I said, guys, I hear you. I don't know, but one thing I do know is we had to trust the process. I was given something and I had to make gold with that, and that's exactly how it was. But there were so many scenes with Genzo that I so badly wanted to portray and experience, and for the following, because dude, for the fans, because like these scenes with Genzo and Nami, it hits a pinnacle point where she just realizes she can't control and keep the secret anymore. Here's the dad. He comes and he holds and just goes, "Your fight is done. It's okay. You can let go now. We've got you. We have got you. We're not living under oppression anymore. We're standing up and we'll fight, even if it means we've got to sacrifice ourselves for you." Brew. Oh, fuck. And the scene, I'm like, I want to do that scene. And, it is what it is.
At least, you've got that inspiration, so you can put shades of that into other scenes. I feel you can try and sneak a little bit of that into other stuff, which does help. But as an audience, a lot of people want to see that direct adaptation. They want to see that panel from the manga they want to see on screen. But thankfully, in your performance, if you've got that background, you can sort of layer it and say, well, I'm going to take that piece that I know is not in the script and be like, that's part of the character, that's part of his arc. Where can I slide this in and where can I have some fun with it?
Totally. And then you release it as an energy, and then people know, okay, cool, this guy he's firm and loving. Because people know the anime, they'll pick it up themselves, they'll overlay it onto what they're seeing, and they'll connect the dots, which is great. I think what most people wanted is they wanted a 20 episode Netflix thing that just gave more time for each arc to kind of lay it and spread it out, where they can see all these beautiful things happening. But the problem with that was One Piece going to make it? Was it going to be like Cowboy Bebop? Was it going to be like Dragon Ball Z? Like, was it going to be an epic fail? So it's like, let's test eight episodes. And I mean, I don't know what they're doing now with the next thing. I can't say much at all.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
I mean, I do know, but I just
I know you can't exactly. No,
yeah.
I won't.
I don't know how many episodes it will be. But it would be nice to see more of that stuff.
To see it spread out. I think once, with any, you've got a good story and a good product when somebody says to you, let's flesh it out. Let's see more, because there's nothing worse than making something and go, yeah, less, please. The fact that everyone's coming and saying more, we want more Genzo, we want more of this. And there's room for that, like it's a 1,000+ episode anime. Your character hasn't died. Who knows? We never know.
Yeah.
That's the exciting thing, and to be able to revisit that later would be really rewarding for fans, rather than just cramming something down fans' throats initially and saying, well, we're going to make a 30 episode thing, and you will like it. You're just going to alienate your fans, leave them wanting more, and that's such a great sign, is that fans are saying, man, I wish we saw this scene and this scene and this scene, instead of the fans saying, oh, they butchered this scene, and this scene. And there is this horrible pervasive culture, and it's something I try and put aside on the channel, and it's difficult because it's so easy to make negative content. That's what gets the clicks. It's easy to make a video that says One Piece live action sucks, and here's 10 reasons why. That's going to get a lot more clicks than what they got right in One Piece. Everyone's going to be like, whatever. What I have seen about One Piece, which has been really, really cool, and I chatted very briefly with Alex about this, was there's been, like I said, there's a push towards negative content, but within the live action adaptation space, it's been even worse. Like, people want these things to fail almost. And what I found so encouraging to see online when One Piece came out was people saying One Piece actually works. They're trying to go negative, but they couldn't, because they were like, you know what, this is actually a really good show. It's true to the anime, but it has its own identity. It's got a diverse cast. The cast are talented, and it's got a good production value. What more can you ask for?
Dude, how talented are the cast? Like, dude, how is Alexander? Like,
Alex is insane.
Dude, how he played that role? Oh man, I'm telling you, like, blew my mind.
I mean, and these are guys that we've seen in, what's exciting for me is that we've seen so many of you guys as actors in local productions. We know you guys, we recognize you. To see this on an international stage and to see it standing up is so exciting because,
Yeah.
like you said, the world is kind of coming here now. And I did some press for Boy Kills World before they came out. And I interviewed Sholto just before that movie released. And he was saying the thing is that the world has known South Africa as a place with talented crews, great locations, we're cheap to film. We've known that for ages. What we really need now is places investing big money here and people coming and making a big production to say, we're bringing it here and this is where it's happening. And that's why he did. And he said it was a small role. I enjoyed his role in Boy Kills World. But he said, he took it on because that's the principle. And I think if we can get that attitude shifting, as South Africa is not just a place to kind of, for lack of a better word, exploit. It's a place where we've got talented people that we actually want to come and film here because we can
keep
film.
talking. Sorry,
Cool.
my battery's about to die. I'm just going to quickly fetch my charger.
Cool.
Sorry.
No worries.
Take a stroll through my house here.
Yeah, there we go. There's the view. The weather looks like it's improving, so it's fun.
Give me one
But if we
second. Sorry, man.
no worries. But if we can make South Africa the destination, not just because it's cheap, but the destination because of the talent that is here. We know it's here. We know the crews are here. The crews here, I'm sure it's something you've seen, and because I've worked on a few local productions, smaller budget movies, some of my own stuff that I've written and done. But what I have heard, I mean, we kind of take it for granted as South Africans, is that if you tell a South African on set, we need a high angle on this, but we don't have a crane, and we want an explosion to happen in the background, they'll be like, cool, we'll get it done. 20 minutes. Give us 20 minutes, we'll do it. We need that attitude. Like the international community needs to know about that attitude and be like, you know what, we want to film in South Africa.
Dude, yeah. It's crazy how good the South African crew is. Like the stunt guys, the crew, the like unbelievable. These oaks are like muscle. And they don't care. They're like, what do you need? Cool. On it. Cheers. Bye. There we go. Done. And you kind of go, they are brilliant. Brilliant.
Super resourceful. And I mean,
Super, man.
I mean, One Piece is such a diverse world, and they chose Cape Town. It's like, well, why not? You've got 100 different locations that you can make look completely different based off of filming in one area. So, like you said, the world is coming to us, and I just hope that these kind of projects and seeing South African talent getting roped into it is going to sort of snowball, and we're going to see more and more of this coming. And not just people coming with their international cast. Obviously, they have 1 or 2 stars they want as maybe the core cast. But if more and more people are coming and finding the talent here locally, investing money locally here, that is what's going to see our film industry thrive because we have all the pieces. We just need somebody to come and just mesh it together.
Yeah. And dude, like the cast that are now in season 2, like some of the guys I know as well, also just phenomenal.
I see Ty. I'm so excited to see Ty in it.
Dude, Ty, do you know that Ty was? So I went to AFTA Film College, and Ty was the first guy to speak to me in the parking lot. And it's crazy, dude, because I was like very lost. I was like, I parked the car. I don't know where to go. I was ambling around, and there's this random person standing in amongst like 100 cars, and I notice him notice me, and then he kind of goes like, "Hey, dude, do you need help with something?" And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, like first day, I don't know where to go." Bro, like you have no idea. Like such a kind, amazing oak. We were at AFTA together, and he showed me the way. And yeah, dude, like also been a massive inspiration for me. Like that guy is brilliant. He's gone through his own fair share of stuff, and he's just a solid, amazing guy, bro. So good at acting, and he's in Summertide as well.
Yes, he's in Summerside. Yeah, no, that's why I actually hadn't seen him in stuff for quite a while. I think the last thing I saw him in was The Wild, which was quite a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah,
it was quite a while ago, and I hadn't been keeping up with what he'd been working on. But then I saw him pop up in Summertide, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And it's what I've noticed. Now I don't know. You've been in the industry, obviously. You have um, a lot more of a closer lens on things. Have you also noticed sort of a shift in like it seems to be very recently, like maybe over the last 10 years, there's been an insane increase in the quality of South African produced content going out.
yeah, massive.
I mean, like we're seeing shows like Reika getting Emmy nominations. We're seeing,
dude, amazing.
Incredible shows come out. My mom was a huge fan of Lioness. She was like, "This is so good." And South Africans have we have this imposter syndrome about pretty much everything we do. We're like, it's not the international standard. I think we're starting to break that mold. what do you sort of think about these internet? What is the influence of these international productions coming here being on lifting the local game to create shows like Summertide, which is, beautifully shot, well written. We've got Catch Me a Killer, phenomenally made. We've got international talent coming to be part of it. Is it a process of one lifting the other, or do you think we've just always been on the up as a South African industry?
Oh no, I think because I know that I can only speak from my own life lived, really. So I know that when they say to me, "Cool, you want to be an actor here? You must be ready for when the parts come." What does that mean to me? My brain naturally goes, "Well, who's coming here?" No, we've got massive internationals. This is happening next, and we get told. We find out through the grapevine. We find out through our agents. Next year, this time, this is going to be casting here. Be ready. They want British accents, but like, so then you're honing your craft as you're going. Sometimes you don't know, and something lands, and they come and they're like, "Oh, we need an audition for this," and then you've got to be ready. Your toolbox has got to be ready. And I think the way that I've done it is just I need to be in my A game, and the goal for me has been to book leads and supporting characters, and then with that build showreel and put the content out so that I get more bookings. So I definitely do feel it must be like that for other people as well. Directors here, producers here, the crew, the stunt guys, they're like, we need to up our game so that if another big show comes, that and I also think that social media and our own social media marketing for us as stunt guys and actors and things, that is a way for us to get more work. So we want that social media to look great. So therefore you act great, you do your stunt stuff like amazingly, you then you showcase yourself on your social media. I think all of that is like this organism that flows together. It's like a community and stuff like that as well. So I think as the shows get bigger and come this side, we get bigger. And it's this mutual growth exchange that happens. I
It's
think.
like I like to think of it almost like a spillover effect of, you
Yeah.
are we may necessarily historically have been defined as like, what, these are the productions that are open to you. It's this many. Suddenly a big international one comes, you meet new people, you meet international actors, you get there. It's not that they're better, it's that they have different perspectives. And then the hope is that our talent here takes those perspectives on board, and then you go back to a show like Summertide and you say, I can apply X skill that I learned on One Piece here.
Yeah.
Or I saw them shoot this as a director. I, was shadowing these international directors, and they did it this way, and I can apply these things to my production.
Yeah, dude. Like, I think you mentioned they have different perspectives. And I think if we go even deeper on that, you said ourselves, like, well, why do they have that perspective? Can you imagine being on set? Like, well, can I imagine being on set on 4 different movies over 2 or 3 months, and then as soon as I'm done, I'm on to another 4 movies, or 2 or 3 or 2 big movies in 1 year, where you're working 150 days or whatever, or like, and then also having the social media and marketing the size of what it is in the States. And then also you've got your manager, your PR, and then you're going to training on how to answer your questions. And then, so then you're growing in yourself. You as a business become a really professional, high end business. You operate the way you think, your thought process, everything, the way you respond, the way you are as a being. You've worked on yourself, and then everything is you. Yeah, I mean, for us this side, I don't think that people I don't think all people do it. I know myself, the way that I view things is that I follow guys overseas, and I map out how they did it. I ask the questions on myself, and I say, what can I do to replicate and do something similar? So like, for instance, like the gun videos or the training videos, I'll edit together stuff and just pop it out there just to be seen, because I saw Liam Hemsworth doing a training thing. And then something comes through from my agent. Oh, they really loved your thing. Can you just send us that thing and then show them that you could actually, and then you book work. So it's almost like I have to become my own PR agent, manager, and actor for myself as a business. But on that side, they have it all mapped out for them, where they can solely focus on their acting and be good at that. I think we have to do a bit more this side. But
sure. I saw Steven put out a really cool show reel a while back of like a forest fight where he did it,
dude,
with
how cool! I
it was
saw it.
such
How
a cool
cool
show
was
reel. I
that?
was like, oh, what an epic show reel.
And all he did was he's like, I'm going to this place to Comic Con. Are you guys?
Yes, down the road from me here in Irene, I think, where he shot it. And then
Yes.
it was like one of the forests here, and he was like, "Oh, I'm at Comic Con. I'll just, while I'm there, I'll just go and film it with Cameron." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, and he made a cool little video for the fans to go, "Oh wow, you there?" And he brought people in, and he made it interesting. And it was so cool and clever, to be honest, like very clever. And he's doing so well at the moment. I think he's done more than 30 Comic Cons already.
Yeah, see, he's on the road constantly. I think he's in Chile at the moment. He's everywhere. He's in
Dude, his
such big
wife and
amounts.
his kids are going with him, and like he's stuck. They're loving it. That's so cool. And
Yeah,
he's
so
such
he
a
was
great
like
actor.
the other day, he was like, "Oh, I'm stuck in New York," and I was like, "Shame."
Yeah.
He's on flight. Oh, shame. He was like, "Anybody got tips for me to spend the afternoon in New York?" And I was like, "No, I don't. I don't."
Yeah. Yeah, dude, but no, just going back on that thing with, I think like it's so fast paced in the States, and the culture there is so different to here. But I think now something has definitely shifted. I think we've got Amazon Prime, South Africa. We've got Showmax. We've got Netflix. It's building, and there's a lot more writers writing content and stuff coming from overseas down here to be shot with the South African actors. So I think we all realize that, and the game's lifting. So yeah,
I think the game is definitely changing, and South Africans have that attitude of you don't get 100% better by doing 10 things 10% better. You get 100% better by doing 100 things 1% better, and
yeah,
that's what we do. And I think just from listening to what you've had to say, that's something you took on board as well. I was like, okay, I've we've done but changed. It seems to maybe I might be reading a bit too much into it, but like you said, it kind of changed your perspective. But like seeing what Taz does, I mean, like, okay, cool, Taz is doing this, this, and this. I'm gonna go and improve my shooting and learn a couple of extra skills because at the end of the day, everyone in this industry is incredibly talented. It's those 1%ers that put you apart from the next person in the audition room.
yeah. And often we compete too much, man, and we must not compete. We must learn from each other, and that's hard because our egos I want to be better, and it's this whole separate mindset, separate identity thing of like, I'm going to be this lone ranger at the top with all my gold, and it's actually better to rise together. There's like a saying or something. If you want to get somewhere,
Yeah, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to get far, go together.
that's it. Yeah. So I think community is massive, and honoring people that you feel are great and telling them and being like, hey, how can I learn from you? And showing that kind of a teachable spirit is gold. Honestly, it's so yeah,
Yeah, no, I think I think collaboration over competition will win 90% of the time.
totally. I saw a video recently on that with Tom Hardy where he's like, I think they speak about they say like, "Are you a method actor?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm not a method actor. I do whatever is possible from every single teaching that there is out there. I'll take a little bit, and it's almost like a contest of who can add the most flavor and the best idea in the moment to serve the text." And he laughed, and I just went, "It must be fun to like act with guys like this that are just." Yeah, the ego's gone. It's like maybe it's not. Maybe it's just in a healthy place. But it's like they're just flowing together, going, "Oh, try this or try that," and it becomes fun, and they play.
I think the exciting thing is that like you said, the ego is probably still there, but they have the level of confidence to be like, you know what, and it comes maybe not necessarily from the ego, but it comes from a different place of saying, like you said, you felt more confident on set to be like because of past experience and your own experience to say we're missing something here. The
Yeah,
more confident you are to be able to speak out and say, let's make this a collaborative process and let's try this. And without confidence and maybe a little bit of ego, I think it becomes difficult to say to like if you're on the set of Oppenheimer and you're speaking to Chris Nolan and you're like, I think we should do this. You better be pretty confident in what you're saying.
you better know your shit, dog. You better know
You
it.
know
You
your
know what I mean?
stuff.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because those those folks they have worked. They have played with worlds and written scripts, and they know every little turning cogwheel of that world. So when you bring something, don't waste my time. My time is money.
Yeah.
I mean, you see what
You
I mean? I
better
think that's
know.
yeah. Like, oh shit! You just wasted 5 minutes. It's like you pay up, brother. But yeah, Yeah, it's interesting. I'm happy with where the industry's at. As much as there's a lot of negative people that speak about it and are very grumpy, and I find like as much as I encourage those people, I also have to sometimes distance myself and be like, I can't let that into my world. I'm only successful because I know how to put my own boundaries down for myself and go, success looks like this, mindset, work, like especially as a dad or a husband, like just busy. I've got like two little lighties I've got to look after, um, connecting with my wife and stuff like that as well. People, that's your community that you're responsible for, that you have to give energy to, and that's got to come first. And anything that drains has to take a back seat. Got to keep filling our cups so that we are not an empty cup. So we fill over the brim and we can actually pour out and give, and then sometimes solitude again, and chill out and meditate and relax and just give back to me, and then yeah. So, but I'm happy with. I'm really stoked and excited for the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I think that shows like One Piece and now seeing films like Boy Kills World being people are taking punts on South Africa, and it's happening more and more, and they're coming up tops. They're taking a punt
Yeah.
and it's working out well.
Yeah.
I think the more that we see that, the more likely we are to see greater success. It's a snowball effect. I think with any industry and with any investment, you need to see some return at first, and then people are going to jump on the bandwagon. And I just hope that continues to happen. And hopefully, I was showing to a friend of mine who's got she does a lot of agency work, and that she's saying that things are quite slow in LA at the moment, and she sees generally a bit of a pickup when things pick up in LA. They pick up here. It's like a slight knock on effect.
Yeah.
So she's hoping that when that picks up, it will happen here as well.
Yeah.
So I do hope that we'll see that. But the fact that we have a community of actors here, and what I enjoy seeing is, it does seem like it's a very small world in terms of the acting community here, because you do see a lot of the same names popping up and up again and again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're seeing collaboration between those actors. It's the same way that like Chris Nolan works with like 10 actors. Like, he collaborates with the same 10 actors over and over again. And it's because it's not, I don't think it's because of ego. It's because of being able to work with these people and developing relationships. And we're seeing
Yeah.
those relationships form in the South African community now.
Dude, so key what you said, relationship and trust. You have that. It's like, wow, the audience responded like this with you in that movie. I can trust that bums will fill seats, or we'll get the views, or we'll. And look, as much as you want to say it shouldn't be about the money and stuff, everyone needs to put food on the table. So they want to make a movie that makes them money. We get that. And like, how much easier to trust people will do the job and do it right than to pick someone. But here's the thing as well, like, I'm always rooting for the underdog. Always want to try new actors, new people, and that should be done as well. Because like recently, I've just connected to Amazon through an audition that I did, and I'm so stoked that I'm in that door. And I worked with an amazing director, Cindy Lee. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Small role, but just to have a door open and someone just said, "Okay, let's try this guy." The thing is, if you're going to get chosen to do a job, you got to make sure you show up and do your job. Do you know what I mean?
It
So,
doesn't
like,
end at the audition.
no, exactly. And you do the job, but then also, are you a people's person? Are you able to connect with people and relate and not what is the word? Be too. I want to say judgmental, but more narrow-minded. You've got to be open, and you've got to be able to connect and have conversation and hold your own and have some sort of semblance of what is going on in life, um, in your own life, in other people's lives, in the world, in the industry, to be able to have good conversation with people where they go, okay, wait, hold on a second. You're a full person. This isn't just about the Oscar. Because, you know what I mean?
It's one of those things where you in academia, there's a saying that I've tried to sort of live by, which is that in this field, and it's the same, you can apply it to any field. It's like in acting, everybody's talented. In academia, everyone's smart. Set yourself apart by being kind.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of people, what I mean? There's a lot of people that get, as that ego grows, you can forget that kindness bit, and people are going to want to work again with people that they've gelled well with, that they've dealt with in respectful ways. Not a case of being like going to the director and saying this scene needs to be in, this has to happen. You say, I think
No,
we're
yeah.
missing something here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about tact and about respect, and I think if we again, that's why we see the same collaborations happening over and over again. It's not just because it's a group of Oscar-winning actors. It's because it's a director who trusts those actors to be able to push back on him when he needs to push back, but also to give him the space to be like, listen, I have a vision for this and it has to go this way. Thank you for your input, but not in this scene.
Yeah. It becomes fun when you know someone.
Yeah.
Because it's just trust. Trust gives you a place of rest and ease. Yeah. And then you can flow and do it. It's a dance that happens, which is really, really cool.